from the Ticats Audio Network. This is ongoing coverage of the 2023 Grey Cup Festival leading up to the 110th Grey Cup in Hamilton.
Welcome to ongoing coverage of the 2023 Grey Cup Festival on the Ticats Audio Network. I'm Braden Neville. On today's show, Jason Moss and Mike O'Shea sit down at the Hamilton Convention Center to discuss going head-to-head in the upcoming Grey Cup, and they even share some memories of their days working with Ticats offensive play caller Scott Milanovich, and of course winning that Grey Cup way back in 2012. CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosie gives his annual State of the League at the Hamilton Convention Center, and the 23rd annual Hamilton Sport Breakfast of Champions presented by Stelco recognizes and congratulates Hamilton area athletes and coaches. And of course, ex-Ticat Eric Harris will join the show. It was a jam-packed day on day 2 of the Grey Cup Festival in Hamilton, and started off with the Alouettes coach Jason Moss and Winnipeg head coach Mike O'Shea answering questions from members of the media, with the Grey Cup sitting in between them under a nice lighting. It looked so good just sitting in between those two guys. Both coaches actually won a Grey Cup together in the past under Ticats offensive play caller Scott Milanovich, who was then the coach of the Toronto Argonauts, and they spoke about their relationship then to now and more.
Obviously, having played against Osh for as long as, in my career, and then getting a chance to be on the same side as him, you look at the work ethic it takes as a player to play as long as he did, and you see it as a coach right away, the professionalism he takes each and every day, the dedication to his craft. But Osh is a great person, and you only get to see that when you're around him every single day. A lot of fun to be around as well. So it lightened the mood for me, obviously, my first year coaching and being on staff with him. Constant talks about football, but about just about everything. I really enjoyed that aspect of Osh, caring and all that. And throughout a season, there's ups and downs and all that, and you want to be surrounded by great people that make your job easier, I guess. And that was one of the things I looked at coaching with Osh. And then just see what a bright mind he has for football. That's when I knew he'd be in a Grey Cup, winning a Grey Cup, or as the head coach. Whatever he decided to do, I know he'd be successful. Just watching the attention to detail, the way he interacts with people, the way he coaches up players, the way he cares about players and people. That's what it takes, in my opinion, to win, and he has all that in spades.
Should never go second, I think, for that question. Damn it. Blew that one again. So the staff we were on in Toronto together was, we were a lot younger, obviously, but it was a lot of fun. There was, I'm doing special teams, so my day ends maybe a little differently than other guys do, right? So you had time to move around the building and talk to guys. So it was a lot of fun. I mean, I probably wasted other guys' times more than they wanted, but, playing against Jay, obviously, you know how competitive he is, but then when you're in the same building and you decide to work out with him, you get schooled every single day in every single exercise we would ever do. And so you see how competitive, how fiery he was. And then after that, I was going home, but he was still going back to work and stay until all hours. It's interesting when we'd get a new guy in the building and Scott would say, I need this guy ready. It's one of the first things I noted was there was no way in hell that guy wasn't going to be ready as soon as that player was, as soon as possible for that player. Like if it was a player that was going to take 4 days, he'd be ready in 3.5, right? If it was a player that was going to take 16 days, it'd be 14, right? So Scott would stick this guy with Jay, and Jay would just get him tuned up, and he'd be ready to take the field faster than I've ever seen. Which I thought it was one of the first things I noticed, and I thought that was pretty important to our team.
I think just, you are who you are. I mean, I talked about yesterday about noticing an awareness of yourself and growth that you need to have at times, and that was something I've grown to understand about myself and tried to be better at this year. But I think we're still both how we are.
I mean, I think authenticity is like we're the same in that regard. We believe that you have to be who you are, and if you try to be anybody else, it ain't going to work.
Yeah, and you can improve yourself, but it has to come from within. If someone forces something on you and says you need to change, I don't think it ever works that way. The things that people have noticed about the way I've done things differently this year is because I wanted to personally change, and I wanted to represent a different, something different about myself, and I felt it needed to be changed in order to maybe be in this chair someday, to be honest with you.
I think it's a culmination of the season, right? You spend a lot of time together, an inordinate amount of time together, right, as a coaching staff. And there is one picture of the group together that I really enjoy. When you see it, when it comes up again, it's like, oh yeah, it's on the field, but the actual with the cup, I don't know. I don't think there's one, probably.
I can't think of one either. I know when you win one, it's forever, and those memories are forever. And it's something no one can ever take away from you. And so those memories are instilled in my brain. And again, you always want to do it with a certain group of guys. That's your vision always, and we couldn't have had a better group, in my opinion. And obviously a lifelong friend in Osh, and you talk about legends and all that. I know he won't say it, but he is a legend in our sport, and I'm not afraid to say it. He's tremendous. So, and I'm thankful to know him.
That was Blue Bombers head coach Mike O'Shea and Alouettes coach Jason Moss. Following the coaches' press conference, CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosie spoke to media in his annual Media State of the League and gave praise to the city of Hamilton and the Ticats organization for their hard work preparing for this year's Grey Cup festivities.
Well, they love football here, and this is a football town, and what the Ticats have done here over the past 10, 15 years has been nothing short of spectacular. The energy and the passion, you don't have to go very far in any direction to see clear evidence that the Ticats are a critical and loved part of the city. The energy that the fans pour in. Look, you for many of you who have been to a Ticats game, for some of you who haven't, the game day experience here is spectacular. It's passionate, it's excited, it's warm, it's friendly, all of that energy that they bring to their game day experience, I think we're going to see around the city here. You really do have to say a big shout out to Scott Mitchell and Matt Ethnick, to Bob Young, and to Stelco and Jim Lawson for the energy they've poured into creating almost and I should say they have created an elevated Grey Cup experience. The music festivals that they're going to put on, all of the activations that we're going to see around the city. Friday they've got a school day so that all the kids can participate in a whole bunch of those activations. This is just a great CFL city. It's a great football city, and it's going to be a great host city for Grey Cup 2023.
Why did you feel it was important to return in 2023, having been here in 2021 during that COVID year?
Well, the arrangement we made, and my colleague Greg Dick is in the room with us, and Greg runs our Grey Cup, in addition to football operations, runs our Grey Cup and events team. I think we felt that 21 really wasn't the Ticats Grey Cup, it was really the league's Grey Cup. That year, we took the Grey Cup back from them. It was the right place to play the game, but as you know, we were still largely going to be mired in the cloud of COVID. So played the game here. The Ticats in Hamilton did an amazing job of hosting with us, but it really wasn't their game. It was the Grey Cup, but not Hamilton's Grey Cup per se. We felt it was critical to let them fully activate their Grey Cup strategy, which we're seeing in front of us right now. That was it. It was just to make sure they had an opportunity, as all of our Grey Cup teams have, to give them an opportunity to fully activate their Grey Cup plan. And I think it'll be an exciting week for us and an exciting week for fans to be here in Hamilton.
Back to the commissioner in just a second, but Ambrosie was asked about how much longer he intended to remain on as commissioner, and he had this to say.
Well, I can tell you that 20 and 21 were two very difficult years. They were sobering years, very challenging years for all of us, for all of you and for your families. But I came out of 21 with a renewed energy. I really felt that, going back to some of the work we had done, some of the research we had done, some of the signals that we were getting about, and some of the investments we had made in our platform, all were pointing in the right direction. I felt like at the beginning of 2022 that my own personal level of energy was just really back, if not only just back to where I was when I started the job in 2017, but I almost felt like it was higher because my level of confidence in where we were going was that much higher. You know, Dan, honestly, the answer is I'm proud to serve as the commissioner of the CFL. I'm proud to serve this group of governors and owners, and I'm looking forward to continuing to do that. At some point, it will be time to pass the baton to somebody else, but for now, I'm honored to be in the position. I feel like we're on the right track. As I've shared with you this morning, there's lots of reasons to be thrilled about the results that we've had. I'm also think that those results can be built on. And I still have a lot of energy and passion. As long as I have that energy and passion to do the job the way I believe it needs to be done, I'd like to continue. But ultimately, that decision will be made, by the Board of Governors and myself in a conversation. But for now, I am just honored and thrilled to be the commissioner of the CFL, and I plan on staying in the job as long as the governors want me to be in it.
That was CFL Commissioner Randy Ambrosie. There was a lot going on today. I got the chance to stop by the 23rd Annual Hamilton Sport Breakfast of Champions presented by Stelco, which is a super cool event that recognizes local athletes and coaches from across the Hamilton area, and it was a great success. The Grey Cup made another appearance. It was all over the place today. The CFL Commissioner, Randy Ambrosie, Ticats lineman Chris Van Zyl was there, and there was also a ton of other Ticats alumni that were available for photos with all the young athletes and their coaches and their parents, and it was a great event to see them get recognition for what they were able to do this season. And who else was there? Pro football's all-time leader in interceptions, Les Brown, and he spoke to me about the event.
I think it's awesome that they honor these young athletes at such a young age, and they give them such, inspiration to keep going, right? I'm getting chills just thinking about these kids, right? And met so many nice ones, and they're so humble, right, at this age. And I tell them all the time, just strive. There is no top of the ladder. Just keep going. When you think you're at the top, reach for another pedestal.
Are you impressed by some of the hardware that was given out here tonight to some of these, or today to some of these young athletes?
Well, I'm always impressed with when they get honored at this age, right? Because it makes you want to grow for something.
Yeah.
I just remember growing up right outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in a small town in Ohio. The Steelers back in the 70s were winning Super Bowl after Super Bowl. Used to come to our high school and play charity basketball games with our teachers. And I was always one line getting autographs from Franco Harris, Terry Bradshaw, Lynn Swan, Joe Green.
Legends.
Right? All legends, right?
Yeah.
And I wanted to be one of those legends.
And
right?
you were. Look at you now. I mean, all-time receiving or all-time interception leader in all of pro football.
In all of pro
football. It worked out for you.
It did.
How does it feel? I mean, you're wearing the Tiger Cats black and gold. You're wearing the jersey. How does it feel to put that back on?
I know. It feels like I want to go out there and get me a couple picks.
That was Les Brown, and let me tell you, he looked like he could still lace him up. He was in great shape, and it was awesome to get to catch up with him, and good for him for going out there and being a part of such a great event. Joining me now is former Ticat Eric Harris. Eric, thanks for joining me today, man.
No problem. Appreciate you having me on.
And you're going to be returning for the Grey Cup Festival this year and the Grey Cup. How does it feel to be coming back to Hamilton?
I cannot wait to come back to see everybody. I know our family was fired up when we came up for Labor Day Classic. It was awesome. But it's a little bit cold here in Florida right now, so I'm kind of nervous. Gotta get my winter clothes packed up. They take a lot of room up in the suitcase.
Well, it's actually, you know what, for Hamilton in November, it's actually not too bad right now. It was kind of a warmer day, not in terms of Florida at all, but for Hamilton, it was a little bit nicer. I mean, I'm sure Florida's definitely warmer. What was it like to return to Hamilton for that Labor Day Classic and to be honored and to be around your fellow Ticats and alumni and fans again?
Yeah, it was very special. It was so special that my kids kept bugging me. They were like, "Dad, you got to come back here and play. You got to come back here and play. Can you play in Canada again?" So it was just special. The people were awesome. They always welcome us with open arms. So it was a home sweet home feeling.
Was there anything you missed about the Hammer being back home or being back in Hamilton?
Just the love of the fans and the support from everybody. Everybody smiling and stuff like that. So just seeing old faces and just picking up where we left off, pretty much. It was awesome.
Why do you think Hamilton's such a good spot to have a Grey Cup festival and to have this sort of festivity in Canada?
Because they love football.
Hmm.
They love football. It's a steel town, right? So they love football. They love their Ticats. People are very passionate about it, and it's just a great city.
Yeah. And in your time, whenever you arrived to Hamilton, your story is incredible from going from Div 2 to the CFL to the NFL and to do what you did. But at that point in your journey, when you first made your way to Hamilton, what was that experience like in getting that first taste of the CFL?
It was kind of surreal, you know. You listening to, first of all, not the regular national anthem. I'm listening to "Oh Canada," so that was kind of like a shock. And then you look up after that, you know, I was kind of close my eyes, rocking back and forth, kind of visualize me playing or whatever, getting all the jitters. And then you look up and it's like, wow, there's another team over there. And I was just packing trucks of UPS and running a belt at UPS. So it was kind
Yeah.
of surreal. It was really surreal at the moment. And just butterflies, man. It was awesome.
What was it like when you got that call from the Ticats and got that opportunity?
Yeah, Sean Burke had called me, you know, hey, Sean Burke, Hamilton Tiger Cats, want to offer a contract, told me to look it over with my agent and everything. And I remember trying to be calm about it. Then I hung up the phone and, you know, I started yelling. My roommate's like, what's going on? And I kind of told him. So he was excited for me, ran down to the library, printed off the contract, signed it, sent it back. And, you know, it went so fast. I was graduating college, so I chose not to walk
Mhm.
because I was pretty much, you know, you're a senior, you graduate, you finish your classes, everybody else is still doing exams. So I'm like, let me just go home, spend time with my family and my wife who was expecting with the twins. So spent time with them and then shot back up to Canada and, you know, went through the training camp and everything. And it was a lot. It was stressful learning the playbook, learning special teams, and just competing, you know, it was a lot.
Was that college or was that the Ticats that your mother was actually writing letters and trying to get you onto teams?
Yeah, that was in college.
Okay,
I didn't have
college.
I didn't have any offers coming out really. Few interests, but my mom wrote this heartfelt letter to California University of Pennsylvania, and I don't think they had a choice.
Yeah.
You know, it's like one of those Rudy stories. Like you have to
Yeah.
give this guy a shot. So they didn't really have a choice after that letter and the news clip articles that she sent. So yeah, pretty special moment for us.
What was that moment like for her when she finally got to see you play professional football?
I don't think it quite, you know, set in for her
Yeah.
because she's been to all my games. She's always made her way, work third shift so she can be at all of her kids' events and make sure we get to the right doctor's appointments when we need it to be. Being a single mother, so that's what worked for her.
Mhm.
Running on a few hours of sleep, maybe two, one, sometimes no sleep. So I think it was pretty special, especially when she got to see me in person.
Mhm.
It was pretty special. And then, you know, I think what catches her is, you know, when you're out and about and people say, "Oh, you're Eric Harris. Can I get a picture? Can I get an autograph?" I
Yeah.
think that's more surreal than me actually playing on the field. It's when I'm being a regular person, regular regular street clothes, and somebody recognizes who I am and wants to talk to me. I think that's the moments that are surreal for her.
That's an excellent story. I think most mothers they always want the best for their kid, and that's a prime example of it. You played in that weird season where it was the transition from Ivor Wynne to Tim Hortons Field. You were playing all over the place.
Oh yeah.
Now, luckily for this year's Grey Cup, we have Tim Hortons Field, and it's excellent. But people forget about that year sometimes and how weird it was. But what was it like for you in that 2013 season?
It was professional football. It was a bigger stadium than I played in.
Yeah, yeah.
First, you know, people were crazy. They were rowdy. So I didn't really know any different, to be honest. I didn't come from a big school, you know,
Mhm.
and like I was downsizing, downgrading or anything. So for me, it was, hey, this is professional ball. This is how it is. And then you get into Tim Hortons and you're like, oh, never mind. This is how it's supposed to be, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah,
Or
yeah.
you go on a road trip and that's how it's supposed to be. But yeah, my first year, we were over in Guelph.
Mhm.
Um, and then even the second year, we were playing at McMaster until about halfway through. And then we went to Tim Hortons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was that like for you to go from that to Tim Hortons Field, and you got to experience that as one of the first groups to be in that field and play for the Ticats?
I think I ran a little bit faster on kickoff or kickoff return. I hit a little bit harder. The adrenaline was running. Pretty special moment. You know, we went out, we did like the winning circle or whatever, and kind of raised our helmets up to the crowd and everything. And they got all rowdy and stuff. And even at the time, I don't even think the upper decks were open on the home side, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember what side it was, but it wasn't even a full stadium, but it was still so loud, and everybody was just super excited to be there.
And it's going to be exciting time. Is there anything you're looking forward to most about returning to Hamilton for this game, or any of the festivities surrounding it?
Just linking up with old friends, linking up with friends again, seeing familiar faces, sharing stories, making new memories, talking about old memories and stuff like that.
You now have a clothing brand.
Yeah. Long story short, 2020 COVID. We didn't think we were going to play ball. My agent suggested maybe I'll sell merchandise. A lot of guys just sell, their signature or them in uniform. And I was thinking bigger picture. So, I was kind of sketching stuff on the plane, and this kind of how I signed my H in my name. And then, the 3 nails represent my faith in Christ. And it stands for having faith. And obviously we talked about my journey, working at Potato Chip Factory, working at UPS, getting my shot in the CFL, going to the NFL. And the whole time for me, it was my faith and my foundation in Christ. It's not for everybody, but everybody has a belief, everybody has a hope. And I just encourage people to hold on to that and believe in themselves and believe in their hard work, and whatever's for them is going to be for them.
And if someone's looking to purchase some of that, how can they go about that?
You can go to having-faith.com, and they got hats and hoodies on there, or residency.com. It's also on there. Yep.
You're heading to Hamilton. It's going to be another homecoming for you. You were back here in the summer, but for these guys playing in this game, and you've played in a lot of big games in your life, what is it like? What's the mindset need to be whenever you're heading into a week like this?
Yeah, just lock in on the details. The preparation is everything. Put the work in during the week, and then when the game time comes, just go out there and have fun. Believe in yourself. I think that you'll have nerves and stuff like that, but when you feel overwhelmed or unprepared, obviously that comes from preparation. So, put the work in during the week and go out there on game day and have fun. Enjoy the moment with your guys, because it goes fast.
Well, Eric, I'm looking forward to seeing you at Tim Hortons Field and in Hamilton, and it's going to be such a great time. Tons of alumni everywhere. So once again, Eric Harris, thanks for joining me, man.
I appreciate it, Braden. Thank you, man.
That was Eric Harris. The Blue Bombers were the only team to practice today. The Alouettes opted to take that day off of practice. We will have all the coverage from tomorrow's events, including Als and Bombers Media Day, as well as the award nominees for 2023. And we will also have Ticat alum Delvin Bro on the show to discuss his return to the Hammer.
Thanks for listening to the Ticats Audio Network. Check back often throughout the 2023 Grey Cup Festival for more.